Welcome to a new and exceptional episode on BT+. Today, we won't be discussing the history we know, but instead, we will dive into an alternative history that has never been written. Get ready as we take a journey around the planet to see what every corner of the world would look like if wars had never been invented in the human dictionary. Imagine that we are now in this alternative timeline. Here, humanity did not exhaust its energy making swords or bullets, but rather in understanding nature. In this world, the Earth is not just fragmented continents, but one large connected garden where humans walk the streets without fear because the concept of an enemy was never created. Our story begins at the dawn of history. In reality, humans invented the spear to hunt prey and kill rivals, but in this world, human intelligence was directed entirely toward tools for peaceful survival. Instead of castles and fortresses, the ancients built astronomical observatories and advanced herbal hospitals. Since great libraries like the Library of Alexandria were never burned in any invasion, human knowledge accumulated like a solid structure, allowing us to reach the industrial and technical revolution 1,000 years earlier than we actually did. Let's start our detailed tour from the Middle East. In our reality, this region suffered from conflicts that drained its wealth and mines. But in a world without war, the Middle East is the heart of energy and beauty. Baghdad, Damascus, Cairo, and Beirut are global centers for science and medicine, just as they were in their golden ages, but with the technology of the future. There are no walls between cities, and the youth there do not dream of fleeing. Instead, they lead the greatest water desalination and desert reclamation projects. The Arabian Peninsula, thanks to advanced irrigation technology funded by money that would have gone to armies, has been transformed into vast green forests and has become the world's largest source of clean solar energy, lighting the entire globe for free. You could have lunch in a restored Babylon using nanotechnology, then take a magnetic train to drink coffee in a Jerusalem that is open to everyone as a center for global spiritual peace. Now we move to Europe. Without World War I and II, Paris, London, Berlin, and Brussels kept all their architectural treasures that were destroyed in reality. More importantly, Europe never divided. Imagine a Hyperloop train network connecting Lisbon to Moscow in just a few hours. There are no refugee camps and there are no massive budgets for NATO. This money was directed toward genetic research since the 19th century, making Europe a place where the average human lifespan is 150 years because incurable diseases were eradicated by the 1950s. European forests have returned to cover the continent, and cities are built in perfect harmony with nature, emitting zero carbon. What about Africa? Here lies the greatest and most just change. In our reality, wars and colonial borders tore the continent apart. In the peaceful BT+ world, Africa is the breadbasket of the world and a biotech manufacturing hub. The wealth of the Congo or South Africa was not looted in arms conflicts, but invested in building the largest technical universities in the world. The Nile, Congo, and Zambezi rivers have become lifelines connecting the continent with smart cities built from eco-friendly materials. A child in the African jungle has the same technical and educational tools as a child in New York, because justice is a natural result of the absence of conflict. Africa today leads research into emotional artificial intelligence, ensuring that machines remain at the service of human feelings. Let's head to the Americas. In a world without war, the United States would not have built nuclear arsenals or naval fleets. Instead, NASA would have received $1 trillion annual budget since the 1950s. The result? By 2025, humanity would own entire cities on Mars and scientific bases on the moons of Jupiter. As for Latin America, instead of gang conflicts and coups, the Amazon rainforest has become the world's largest laboratory for producing natural medicines, where people live in complete harmony with nature without cutting down a single tree using harmless harvest technology. We reach Asia, China, Japan, and India. These superpowers never competed militarily. Japan never witnessed the tragedy of the atomic bomb. Instead, it continued to innovate in silence until its cities began floating on the oceans, smart islands that move with sea currents to generate energy. India, with the brilliance of its mines, has become the center of human consciousness, where ancient meditation sciences have merged with modern technology to create techniques that treat depression and anxiety in seconds through soothing sonic vibrations. Why is all of this scientifically possible? It is quite simple. If we added up all the money spent on wars since the dawn of history, it would be enough to build a Dyson sphere. Science tells us that wars lead to technical regression, meaning we advance in killing machines but decline in our ethics and health. In a world without war, there was no arms race. There was a race to give. Even language would have changed. Words like enemy, betrayal, and occupation would be abandoned words in dictionaries, just as we look today at some strange Stone Age rituals. Science in this world is the religion of humanity. Schools do not teach children the history of battles and who killed whom. They teach them how the universe works, how to communicate with other beings if they exist, and how to develop emotional intelligence. Humans in this world do not fight over a barrel of oil because they learned how to extract energy from the air and the movement of the stars a long time ago. Imagine the psychological pressure that has vanished. There is no breaking news about an explosion or a bombing. Television and the internet only show new discoveries, cultural celebrations, and friendly sports results. Children sleep without fear of planes in the sky, and young people plan their futures knowing that their efforts will go toward building the earth, not destroying it. Crime in this world is almost zero because need and poverty, the fuel for crime, have been erased by the fair distribution of resources. In conclusion, some might say this is excessive fantasy, but at BT Plus, we believe that imagination is the first draft of reality. If humans were able to invent all these complex and destructive weapons, they certainly have enough intelligence to invent a world where they live in peace. The only difference is the decision. Wars were never an inevitable fate. They were a series of wrong decisions. Today, as we look at this beautiful scenario, we hope to start making the right decisions to get closer, even if just a little, to this world we have drawn together. A world where science prevails, love leads, and wisdom guards. Thank you for watching this deep episode on BT+. Share with us. If you lived in this peaceful world, which country would you choose to visit first? And what invention do you wish was a reality in our hands today? We eagerly await your comments and see you in a future journey that exceeds expectations.